Today I'm going to walk you through Marketing Primer Part 2. This is the digital marketing donut. It's the entire universe of different areas in which you can use marketing in the digital context. We're going to focus in on a couple of these. Very few companies are able to maximize the use of all digital marketing. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of resources. Frankly, they don't all deliver the same ROI. So we're going to focus mostly on social media, email, search marketing, and content marketing, as well as your website. We want to maximize the amount of money, the time, and the effort that we spend on any kind of marketing. We call that the marketing ROI, your return on investment. If you're going to spend $1 on marketing efforts, what kind of investment do you get back? What kind of return do you get back? How many clients do you generate? What kind of deals does that turn into? So we want to be able to maximize all the dollars that we spend. And the first thing we need to do in order to do that is you need to have your marketing infrastructure. You need to have your foundation. If you think of a skyscraper that you're building, the most important part is a solid foundation. And with that, you can build anything on top of it. So what does that look like when we're speaking about marketing? Number one, you have to set up a complete professional digital presence. So no matter where anybody's going to find you online, Facebook, LinkedIn, Alignable, Instagram, YouTube, wherever they may find you, it needs to be at the same consistent message, the same brand, the same look and feel. That's first. Next, we need to set up and properly use the CRM. So you need to identify what CRM you want to work with. There are many on the market, and you need to set that up properly. It's not enough just to open up the CRM. You need to know how to use it and make sure that the fields and the automations and the accounts are set up properly. And that can take some time. You Once you have the CRM set up, you'll be in a much better position to track, measure, and report. Why is that important? So that you can improve. If you don't know what's happening, then you can't improve upon it. So it's really essential that within the CRM and beyond the CRM, that you can track and measure all the different activities that you're doing, that are all the different marketing activities, so that you can measure them and then you can improve upon them continuously. And across all of this, you must automate everything possible. As a small owner operator, as a small independent or small brokerage firm, you simply don't have enough time and enough bandwidth in your own world to be able to properly manage all of your deals, all of your marketing activities, all of your back end operations. You'd go crazy. So we need to automate as much as we can, and there's a lot of technology that can help us do that. The CRM is part of that. And the goal of all this would be to be able to, you want to nurture your existing clients. You want to stay top of their mind so that whenever they may not have a deal all the time, right? Whether it's a residential client, and today we're really going to focus more on the investment properties. So we're going to focus more on a business or investor client. They're not going to have a deal continuously every time. They don't need you all the time. But you want to be there and you want to be at the top of their mind. So whenever that deal does appear in front of them, they think of you first. They pick up the phone, they write an email, they reach out to you as their first stop. Also, new leads. You want to be involved in lead generation continuously. It's a process. It takes time to generate leads. You want to build this engine and get this running, so that you have a constant flow of leads into your pipeline. And when you have clients that have active deals, it's a slightly different type of marketing that you might do to them to keep them aware that you're completely on top of their deal, you're actively involved, and that you have their best interest in mind. So three different buckets of nurturing. We call it nurturing is to really manage the relationship with that client. The fancier name would be client relationship management, which is what a CRM is. That's what the term CRM stands for. Um, and to do all of this, we want to maximize the freebies that are out there. So email, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Google, and other social media and other avenues are relatively free. If you think about it, it doesn't cost anything to send out an email. It doesn't cost anything to open up a Facebook or a LinkedIn account or to post on those mediums. It may cost some money in order to write the content or to create some graphic designs, but the actual mechanism of sending out an email doesn't cost anything. So we want to maximize everything that's free before we get into any kind of paid advertising or other avenues. Is what we consider the marketing to-do list. If you're starting from scratch and you have absolutely nothing built, there's a tremendous amount that has to get done. And we look at it in three buckets. One-time infrastructure setup, creative design materials, content, and lead generation services. All three of these need to be combined together. Start part one and part two, the one-time setup and the creative design materials are just that. They're more of a one-time part of, they're really both part of the infrastructure. And once those are set up, they will primarily go away and you'll be left with just lead generation services. So although this looks like a tremendous amount of work, it is just because you don't have that infrastructure set up, you don't have all of it set up. Um, yeah, so let's break this down. Let's first look at the infrastructure setup. So I've broken this down into four different areas: CRM, email, profiles, and measuring and reporting. The CRM is, again, the first one because it's the foundation of everything that you're going to be building upon. So you need to evaluate and determine and select which CRM you want to work with. And there are numerous different considerations when looking at different CRMs. And as you go out there and begin comparing and contrasting the different CRM opportunities, you'll begin to get familiar with what are the essential core features. But you should think through what you plan to do in your existing business and how a CRM can be helpful to you. We can talk about this in a further video if you think it would be helpful to you. But in general, don't just consider price. There are massive price differences. But very often, the single user license is very often free. It might come with limited features, but that might be enough to begin with. So take a good look at the different CRMs. It can be very confusing. It can take some time to evaluate them, but it's an important decision because switching from one CRM to another CRM is very involved. You have to export, take out all the data that you've put in, and that can be challenging. Sometimes the CRMs don't even let you export all of the data, and then you have to be able to import all of that. It's a lot of work. So this can be an important decision. Make sure that the CRM you go with is a CRM that can grow with you. Maybe you start with a limited, smaller feature set in the beginning, but make sure when you look at the more advanced features, the higher paid licenses, when you look at those, that they have features that you think you could build into. Number two would be email. Sending out an email is not just writing an email and sending it out. You're going to be sending out emails continuously to a large number of people, whether that's 100 or 10,000. And so you need to make sure that you have your deliverability infrastructure for email set up. Think about it. Are you going to send out those emails from your own personal account? You might not want to do that. You might want to have a related account that doesn't directly relate, that is not your immediate day-to-day account. And then you're going to have some kind of tools that can help you. Because if you're going to be sending out 25, 50, or 100 emails a day or a week, whatever your different marketing campaigns may entail, are you going to do that work? Or are you going to expect some kind of automation to do that work? That's all involved with email. Profiles. This means really just means setting up your online presence, your Facebook, your Google, your LinkedIn, and other mediums, other social media. You again want to make sure that the profiles are written, that they are correctly designed, that they have the right dimensions so they fit properly, and that can be challenging to work on as well. And you're going to need some professional help to do that. So we want to make sure that all these profiles are properly set up, including your Google. You may not realize, but Google Business Profile is out there. It's available. It has been significantly improved, and it's very localized to your area. So it's really important that you work with Google to set up your business profile properly. And finally, the fourth bucket really would be measuring and reporting. We just looked at CRM, email, profiles. We're going to talk about content. We're going to talk about your website in a few minutes. All of that needs to be kind of unified so that you can track it, measure it, and report on it. So if you're working on different technologies and different platforms to manage your profiles and your email and your social media and your website, well, how are you going to bring all that together in order to intelligently report on it? So we need to think this through a little bit up front. Design and content materials. We need to produce some materials. Let's first and foremost just think about your website. If you don't already have a website, you need to create a website. It doesn't have to be a big website. It doesn't have to be 50 pages long, but it could actually, for that matter, be one large, what we call a landing page almost. But you want to have it, it should be professional. It should represent you. It should have a consistent brand and colors with all of your profiles that you have on your social media. Um, it should be professionally designed. There should be a layout there, and there should be an ability for them to contact you, an ability for them to probably have a calculator to calculate some things on their mortgage. There are some common things that are done on real estate websites, and there are plenty of people to help you design this website. Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google. Again, we talked just a moment ago how you want to set up your profiles. Well, in order to set up your profiles, You may want to have what we call the Facebook cover page, which is the initial image at the top of the Facebook page. On LinkedIn, we think of it as a LinkedIn banner. There are personal pages. There are professional business company pages. You might want to have the same design on both. You might want to have a different design. You just need to think that through. If you're going to be making posts on any of the social media, you could just type in your post and just have it as pure text, but you might want to have some kind of graphics or even some kind of a template around that post. When you go online and look at your social media activity that you receive, you may start to notice that some of it is just a plain text post and some of it has a template or some kind of graphical design around it. People are creating that, and they typically is part of their brand. Their template that they use becomes part of their brand. So you're going to want to have this all designed. Handouts and giveaways. But you might want a landing page. In addition to your website, you may want to create one or two different landing pages in order that we can do A and B testing. What does this mean? You're going to have two different landing pages, an A page and a B page, and you're going to, different campaigns that you run, you're going to send any kind of traffic, any kind of interest in your campaign to landing page A or to landing page B, and that way you can track where the lead came from, and you can know which of your campaigns are working better. And then even on the landing page, you can track which landing page is converting into an active lead more effectively. And therefore, you work with an A page and a B page, and whichever page is working better, you'll use that page and create a new B page. And then that becomes your A/B, and you keep tweaking it until it gets better and better and better. You'll hear this term A/B testing quite a lot within marketing. It applies to emails, it applies to your website, it applies to your landing pages. You might want to produce a PDF flyer with a QR code. What is this? This could be a handout that when you are walking into somebody's office, you bring this with you and you can leave it with somebody as a leave behind. And that way, anytime that they want to get back in touch with you, even though it's a paper form, they can just scan that QR code with their phone and it takes them immediately to your website. That's a great feature. You could also just make this available as a PDF and send it out as, think of it like a handout, but as an attachment to an email. That might be part of a campaign. It might just be part of a one-on-one email that you have with somebody. So having a PDF flyer and possibly even an A and B version of these as well could be helpful. And then a honey nugget. So what's a honey nugget? Very often in your campaigns, you're going to ask people to give you their contact information. Well, why should they do that? Maybe they're so enthralled with the text that you wrote that they just immediately give over their information. Very often what you'll see, and you've probably experienced this in your own online life, is that people will say, hey, to download this infographic, to download this ebook, to download this video, whatever it might be, please enter your contact information. That's what this is about. These are the honey nuggets that you're giving away in order for somebody to trade for their information. And then finally, content. All these campaigns, all these landing pages, everything we're talking about creating has to be written by somebody. You could write it, or you might hire a copywriter to do it. There are many copywriters available online at different services that can write content for you. They could write it for your emails. They could write it for your posts on social media or any kind of your advertisements. So if you think about having a campaign and you're going to run that campaign for 3 months, because in general it takes approximately 3 months to run a good campaign, to measure it and track it and see the results that you're getting. Anything shorter than 3 months, it's hard to really measure whether it's been effective or not. So think of a 3-month campaign. If you're posting every week, that's 4 times a month, and you have 3 months. So that's 12 content pieces. That's why I have this number x12 or times 12 across all of these. So if you have multiple different campaigns and multiple social media pieces that you want to post, it's a lot to write. Now, a lot of it's going to be repetitive. You can use the social media text in some of your email campaigns and vice versa, but it's still going to be a lot to control and to write and to manage and to keep track of. Where you're going to store all this, who's going to organize all this, who's going to come up with the content calendar, and when different articles are being written. It's a lot to manage. So you just need to be aware that your design materials involve creating content. And this part of it never ends, because after 3 months, what happens? Well, you're going to be launching additional campaigns for the next 3 months. So you're going to need to continue to write content. And you don't want to be last minute. So if you know we have an article going out or an email going out tomorrow morning, you shouldn't be writing at 12 o'clock at night the night before that content piece. You should have this done several weeks, if not a month ahead of time. That's challenging, so start with having a 2-week bridge, a 2-week cushion. You want to be 2 weeks ahead of your content schedule at all times. Just takes management and planning. And the goal of all of this is to generate leads. right? You want to automate and accelerate your lead generation. Through you're going to use email campaigns to generate leads. You're going to lose. You're going to use social media posting campaigns. You might use paid advertising campaigns. We've talked about using and maximizing as much of the free capabilities as we possibly can. Okay, but still, we might want to consider a small ad campaign, and that can be managed very effectively on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google. LinkedIn tends to be more expensive to get any kind of real traction. Facebook and Google search engine can be used much more effectively for lower dollar amounts. But the point is only that you need to be thinking about lead generation. And as we talked about, there are multiple different ways to do this. There are cold leads, there are warm leads. You need to qualify your leads. So how are you going to do all that? These are the different ways in which we think you should begin. Um, and the fourth one I haven't mentioned yet would be the social media automated meetings. This is a really exciting part of your lead generation where there are technologies now and services that can help you. Literally, you don't have to hire a sales team. You can almost use what we call an SDR or a sales development representative as an outside service. You can hire them piecemeal, hire them by the hour overseas even, and they will literally go through LinkedIn and go into your own LinkedIn account or your own Facebook account, and they will try to connect to people, direct message people, and try to get them to take an interest in you. They think it's you, and then they try to set up a meeting, and that meeting gets put on your calendar, and these services are just setting up meetings for you, and you don't have to be involved at all. If they're going through and they're trying to reach out to 20 or 30 people a day, um, eventually, 5-10% of them will convert into a reaction, and a percentage of those will convert into a meeting. So you're generating, hopefully, you're sending out again 20, 30 a day, several hundred over the course of the month. You'll have 5, 10, 15 meetings that come out of that month after month after month. It might not sound like a lot, but it's running in the background in addition to all the other work that you're doing. And that's really an important point here. You have a cohesive, comprehensive campaign. It's not just one aspect of it. You're not just doing email. You're doing email. You're doing social media free posting. You're running a small ad campaign. And you're running automated social media meeting campaigns. So when you put all of it together, it becomes a comprehensive campaign that will generate leads for you. And you put them all into your CRM, and you can manage and track them in a very automated way. Nothing gets built in a day. So it's going to take time to build all this infrastructure out and get all this content material created and to improve upon it. And that's okay. The most important thing is to begin today, to start taking one foot in front of the other, to dedicate 15 minutes, half an hour a day, every day consistently towards accomplishing this goal. Look at it as a 3-month goal, which you want to have all this created and produced. If you're looking at whatever period of time now, 3 months is 1 quarter. And once you have it completed, now you can use it over and over and over again going forward, tweaking what you already have, but you don't have to go back and build the foundation again. You've already built that foundation. Keeping in mind, most of it's free. Once you've built everything, there is some cost. I'm not going to lie to you. There's cost involved to do all this work, whether you do it yourself or you hire people to help you do that. There's a cost involved. But once you set it all up, a lot of the work then becomes free. And it will generate deal flow. Whether that's a lot, whether that's a little, will depend on multiple different factors, but you're going to be constantly thinking about it and constantly coming in and looking at it and saying, every day, how can I improve my marketing activities? How can I generate more leads at less cost, thereby increasing my ROI? Think upon that, my marketing return on investment. And it's not just money, it's also the dollar, it's also the time and the effort that you and your team are putting in. Continuously think about this. You want to be able to track and measure your marketing ROI. And you can start immediately. You can start immediately in building out your longer plan to get all this built. So you're going to look at a 3-month plan, break it down into what do you want to accomplish in month 1, month 2, and month 3. Break that down, and therefore what do you need to accomplish in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 of each month. And if you put that plan together, just get an Excel spreadsheet and just map it out. Just make a list of everything that needs to get done and put dates and goals by each one. As long as you start, the key is to get going and not to wait and put it off for another day. But there are some things you can immediately start right here and right now. 4 things that we think you can do today. Number 1, with Starport's help, and that's the whole point of all this, is that with Starport behind you, you now have a very powerful opportunity, which is to build a business around investment property loans. So we can help you at Starport and offer these investment property loans to you, help you automate the process. You can offer these investment property loans while at the same time staying with your day-to-day business. But the more you get the message out there and know people that you now have this ability, the better. So that's the goal here. You need to tell people what you're doing. If you don't tell them, they don't know. My dad used to work for a company, and it became a very large, successful company. And in the beginning, they had a marketing slogan: unseen, untold, unsold. And that just rings true at all different levels. People have to know what you're doing. They have to be able to actualize it and come to you and get that product from you. So you should immediately update all of your existing media, whether that's your website, your LinkedIn, or your Facebook profiles, whatever you already have out there. You should update it by some kind of text, some kind of language to let people know that you now offer investment property loans. It's not just your profiles, it's also going to be your business card, or it might be your email signature. Wherever you have some kind of media, you should now let people know that you offer investment property loans. And then you can begin sending out emails to your existing customers. Doesn't matter how many customers you have, whether you have a couple or you have a couple hundred. You should put together some kind of an email campaign today and begin sending emails out to them continuously. You can use your own personal email to do this if the list isn't too large. One suggestion would be that if you are going to use your own personal email, to limit the number of emails you send out a day to 25 to avoid any kind of alerts at Google or whatever email provider you're using. Starport can help you. We now offer marketing services to help you build out that infrastructure, to help design, manage, and continually create your creative materials, and to do this automated LinkedIn and Facebook posting service, which we think is the most exciting part of all this, because it really is the culmination of everything else you're doing. You want to get meetings set up, have them put on your calendar, and don't have to think about that. Just every day you see new meetings being appearing on your calendar. So Starport can help you with all of this. If you're interested, let us know. We'll set up an additional meeting with our marketing team and we can talk about that offline. To help you get started immediately, we're going to give you a couple gifts just for participating and watching today. Look, we love to have members that are excited and passionate about investment property loans and want to get started. You want to help grow your business, we want to help you grow your business, right? Our entire business at Starport is set up to work alongside you. We like to say that we're in it to win it with you. So we don't even get paid until you get paid. So obviously we have an interest in seeing you succeed. And that's the point. We want to look at this as a partnership relationship that for the long term, not just to get one deal or two deals closed, but for many years to come, we're going to help you grow your business and we're going to work together to get there. For being such a great participant, for listening so attentively, we're going to give you a couple things to help you. Number one, an email template. So we've written a text of an email. We have a staff of professional copywriters that we work with, and we've asked them to write a template that a mortgage broker could use to send to their existing customers, letting them now know that they offer investment property loans, and please think of this yourself and refer this to anybody else that you may know. So we're going to share that template with you. And number two, we've written a template similar for Facebook or for LinkedIn and other social media. You can use it as a post, you can use it as an ad. It's a really great template. We think it's clear, it's concise, it reads really well, and it just explains what you're now doing. If you're interested in these bonus gifts, please send us an email at getstarted@starportco.com. Thank you very much for watching. We look forward to working with you.